Hi guys, welcome back to the channel, and in today's video we are going to discuss some important questions and answers that you need to know for your exams. तो इस तरीके के वीडियोस मैं टाइम टू टाइम लेके आने वाली हूँ एंड हम लोग इसके बहुत सारे पार्ट्स करने वाले हैं. बट फॉर दिस पर्टिकुलर वीडियो वी आर गोइंग टू कंप्लीट 30 क्वेश्चंस. सो यू आर गोइंग टू कंप्लीट 30 क्वेश्चंस विद मी विद आंसर्स. इट इज गोइंग टू बी हेल्पफुल इन योर रिविजन. आप इन क्वेश्चंस को कैसे आंसर करना है वो इससे अच्छी तरीके से सीख सकते हो. एंड इन एडिशन टू ऑल ऑफ दिस, ये क्वेश्चंस ऐसे हैं जो बहुत बार देखे गए हैं, इनका पैटर्न नोट किया गया है कि ये आते हैं इंटरनल्स में, प्री बोर्ड्स में, बोर्ड्स में. सो दैट इज वाई मैं कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चंस आपके लिए लेके आई हूँ. और ये क्वेश्चंस यूजुअली 5 मार्कर्स होने वाले हैं, क्योंकि 2 मार्कर्स के लिए मैंने अलग से वीडियो प्लान किया हुआ है. अच्छा, 5 मार्कर्स का एक ब्यूटी है कि उनमें आपको लिखना ज्यादा पड़ता है एंड यू आर एक्सपेक्टेड टू राइट वन. Then comes everybody during the last lesson is filled with regret comment. Now everybody was filled with regret. So in comment you need to actually state the positive aspect of it. You need to tell that yes, they were very filled with regret. Reason? क्योंकि उन्हें पता नहीं था, उन्हें नहीं पता था कि ऐसा हो जाएगा. उन्हें लग रहा था कि ठीक है, एवरीथिंग इज फाइन, एवरीथिंग इज गोइंग टू बी फाइन, एंड ऐसा कभी हो ही नहीं सकता. आपने कभी नहीं सोचा होगा कि कोई आपसे आपकी हिंदी छीन लेगा. हमें ऐसा लगता ही नहीं है. लैंग्वेज एक ऐसी चीज है जो इतनी ज्यादा अबंडेंस में होती है कि कभी हमें लगता ही नहीं है वो हमसे दूर जाएगी. सेम चीज उनके साथ हुई, इसीलिए हर चीज वो कल 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 पे टाल रहे थे. और जब आप हर चीज कल 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 पे टालते हो तो ऐसा हो जाता है, बिकॉज अबंडेंस हर चीज की हमेशा नहीं रहेगी. और जब अबंडेंस नहीं होती है, ओनली देन वी रियलाइज इट्स cost that's there. So let's see what the answer has to say. The one common feeling that fills each and every person who is present in the last French lesson is an acute sense of regret. M. Hamill reproaches himself for putting off his students' learning till the next day, sending them to water his flowers instead of learning their lessons. He also gave his students a holiday when he wanted to go fishing. Franz felt sorry for not learning his lessons and escaping school. Most of them were. He wished he had attended his class more often, and even the thought of losing his teacher saddened him. The village elders occupied the back benches of the class to atone of their guilt and express their regret for not having attended the school regularly or not sending their children to school regularly. They were now showing their respect for the country that was theirs no more. So अभी उनके अंदर से फाइनली, बिकॉज abundance was gone, the language was gone, everything was gone, तो अंदर से उनको patriotism का feeling आया. Now they started actually talking about the country. Now they started actually loving the country जो उनकी अब थी ही नहीं. सो एक ऐसी कंट्री जो अब उनकी नहीं थी, उस कंट्री के बारे में सोचना उन्होंने अब चालू किया जब वो जा चुकी थी. सो ये पूरा इमोशन जो था उस टाइम पे, मेजर या ओवर रूलिंग इमोशन जो था वो था रिग्रेट. दे वर रियली फीलिंग रिग्रेट बिकॉज उन्हें लग रहा था काश हम थोड़ा सा ये कर लेते, जैसा आपको बोर्ड से पहले लगेगा काश थोड़ा सा पढ़ लेते, काश थोड़ा सा और पढ़ लेते, काश ये चैप्टर भी पढ़ के जाते तो ये भी आ जाता. बिकॉज एवरीथिंग इज गोइंग टू बी वेरी मच इन योर हैंड, and it's going to be you who's going to blame yourself, क्योंकि आपको ऐसा लगेगा काश मैं ऐसा कर लेता तो और अच्छा होता. So that was the same feeling with France that day and everybody else. Now let's start the second chapter, which is Lost Spring. In this chapter we have stories of 2 students, or 2 children for that matter. I'm really sorry, not student. So 2 children for that matter. One is Sahib, the other one is Mukesh. Now, both of them have their own aspirations, both of them have their own dreams, and both of them feel in their own way. So, यहाँ पे हमें ये देखना है कि exactly what this chapter is going to teach us. तो इस चैप्टर में आपको बहुत ज़्यादा एजुकेशन का इम्पोर्टेंस पता चला, ड्रीम्स का इम्पोर्टेंस पता चला, पावर्टी कितना ज़्यादा किसी पर्सन को टॉर्मेंट कर सकती है इस बारे में आपको पता चला. तो लेट्स सी व्हाट दिस चैप्टर हैज़ टू से. So the first question that we have from this chapter is, most of us do not raise our voice against injustice in our society or tend to remain mute spectators. Anis Jung, in her article, I lost a childhood, it's like, oh, I think, vividly highlights the miserable. I'm really sorry for all these because you will see some, um, you know, typing crises or here, so please just ignore that. Highlights the miserable life of street children and bangle makers of Firozabad. She wants us to act. Which qualities does she want the children to develop? Now, in these type of question, you need to actually assess the entire chapter. पूरे chapter को assess करके आपको बताना होता है कि according to you आप क्या सोचते हो कि बच्चों में कौन सी quality होनी चाहिए जो अनीस जंग लेके आना चाहती है बच्चों में. So these type of question actually become difficult to write because you have to assess the entire chapter, and the good part is, or the bad part, that you don't need to write the chapter. You need to reflect the qualities, you need to reflect some things that are mentioned in the chapter. Let's see what this has to say. Anis Jung feels that there is a dire need to provide these poverty stricken children a life of dignity and respect. This can mainly be done through the medium of education, which will further provide them with opportunities wherein they will be able to pursue their dreams. There is utter lack of compassion and concern for unfortunate children like Sahib and Mukesh. They are caught in vicious cycle of poverty and exploitation. The author wants all the children to become aware of their basic rights, which will empower them, enable them to organize themselves into cooperatives whereby they will not be ruthlessly exploited. Now यहाँ पे particularly from this story author ने बहुत बार कोशिश किया है, like author wants to focus on education, author wants to focus on enlightening children's right. ऑथर ये बताना चाहती है कि एजुकेशन कितना ज़्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट है, एंड ऑल द मोर वो ये बताना चाहती है कि बच्चों को, बच्चों की फैमिलीज को उनके राइट्स के बारे में पता होना चाहिए ताकि वो अपने आप को कोऑपरेटिव्स में ऑर्गेनाइज कर ले और ताकि से वो उस एक्सप्लॉयटेशन से बच सके जो एक्सप्लॉयटेशन उनका हो रहा है. नाउ दिस पर्टिकुलर फीलिंग हैज बीन टेकन फ्रॉम द part of the chapter in which Mukesh's family actually goes through the perpetual poverty because वो exploit किए जा रहे हैं middlemen से, and they can't organize themselves into cooperative, which is actually very bad. So that's going to be there. Now the next question is again from the same chapter, which is the Lost Spring. I'm really sorry about the Firozabad spelling. So let's see. We have the bangle makers of Firozabad make beautiful bangles and make everyone happy, but they live and die in squalor. Elaborate. ना बोलते हैं कि फिरोजाबाद की जो बैंगल मेकर्स है वो इतनी ब्यूटीफुल बैंगल्स बनाते हैं और वो इतना ज्यादा खुश करते हैं सबको, बट उनका लाइफ जो है या उनकी पूरी लाइफ, या वो जिएंगे या मरेंगे स्क्वालर में, कच्ची बस्ती में, हट्स में, या एक बार ऐसा होता है ना नरक में, गली में, ऐसा. तो वो स्कॉलर का इमोशन है यहाँ पे. The story of bangle makers of Firozabad, the author expresses her concern over their exploitation in the hazardous job of bangle making. Extreme poverty, hard work, dismal working condition result in the loss of childhood of children who are in this profession. The working condition of all bangle makers are pathetic and miserable. They work in high temperatures, badly lit and poorly ventilated glass furnaces, due to which child workers especially are at the risk of losing their eyesight at an early age and get prone to other health hazards. So यहाँ पे basically ये पूरा जो बताया हुआ है, यू रिमेम्बर जब हम चैप्टर पढ़ रहे थे, वी डिस्कस कि कितना पुअर कंडीशन होता है, कितना पुअर वर्किंग कंडीशन होता है, बिल्कुल डिम लाइट्स होती हैं, इतना ज़्यादा फर्नेसेस के सामने वो रहते हैं, उनकी आईज बहुत ज़्यादा ख़राब हो जाती है उससे। अगर आप देख नहीं सकते हो तो उसके बाद में एक्चुअली लाइफ थोड़ा सा डिफिकल्ट हो जाता है। यू कांट गो टू एनी काइंड ऑफ जॉब, यू कांट एक्चुअली डू एनी काइंड ऑफ वर्क इफ यू कांट सी। That happens. That doesn't happen to people who are naturally blind, but that happens to people who have lost their eyesight after a few years, because then it becomes difficult for them to sense everything. I hope you're understanding this. The stinking lanes of Firozabad are choked with garbage, and humans and animals live together in these hovels. छोटे छोटे घर हैं, टूटे फूटे घर हैं, और उनके अंदर बच्चे, बड़े, एनिमल्स सब साथ रह रहे हैं. There is no development or progress in their lives with the passage of time. They have no choice but to work in these inhuman conditions. Now, mind numbing toil kills their dreams and hopes. They are condemned to live and die in squalor, subjected to a life of poverty and perpetual exploitation. तो ये सारे जो चीज़ें हैं, छोटे घरों में रहना, मिडिल मैन का बीच में आना, ये कुछ ऐसी चीज़ें हैं जो कि उनके लिए एक वे बना रही है परपेचुअल पावर्टी और एक्सप्लॉयटेशन का. इस एक्सप्लॉयटेशन से, इस पावर्टी से वो निकल नहीं पाएंगे. रीजन, क्योंकि उनके पास ना तो इतना करेज है, ना इतनी अपॉर्चुनिटीज है, क्योंकि यू नीड some opportunity to get you a life that you want, but they don't have any kind of opportunity. They can't leave this place, they can't go and work somewhere else because most of them are blind now. They don't have education, like they don't have access to education. So these kind of things actually have made their life miserable, and actually paving their way into perpetual poverty and exploitation. Moving on, we have this question which says, why did Sahib become a rag picker? What did he look for in the garbage dumps? Now, a quick history here. Now, I would like to tell you one thing, which is that before 1971, there were two Pakistans. So there were East Pakistan and West Pakistan. Things were not very good. Things were very ugly with between East and West Pakistan. So that's the point where India came in, and India was like, okay, I'll fight for it. And there was a war between India and Pakistan in 1971. And that's how Bangladesh came into picture, which was actually East Pakistan before. So Bangladesh was East Pakistan before, and then it became Bangladesh due to this war which happened in 1971. So a lot of people from Bangladesh or the East Pakistan came into India because the war was happening, and they had food shortages and a lot of things, because war actually happens with a lot of loss. So not only the defense or the army feels loss of anything, the other people in the country suffers in the same way. So that happened with Bangladesh, and people migrated to India to save themselves from the poverty and everything that was there in Bangladesh. And from that particular time has come Sahib's family. उस पर्टिकुलर टाइम से साहिब की फैमिली आई है. इंडो पाक वॉर से वो लोग आए थे, एंड वो तब से इंडिया में हैं. और ऑब्वियसली क्योंकि वो इंडिया में नहीं थे पहले, एंड उनको इंडिया के बारे में उतना पता नहीं था, और लोग कभी कभी एक्सेप्ट भी नहीं करते हैं, इसकी वजह से उनके पास ज़्यादा ऑप्शंस नहीं थे, या ऐसा नहीं था कि दे हैड मच ऑप्शंस कि उन्हें क्या काम करना चाहिए एंड स्टफ लाइक दैट. एंड दैट्स हाउ द पार्ट ऑफ दिस पर्टिकुलर पॉपुलेशन दैट केम फ्रॉम बांग्लादेश बिकेम रैग पिकर्स, and that's how Sahib became rag picker. Now, what was he looking for in the garbage has another story. So because they were rag pickers, साहिब को हमेशा चाहिए था कि कुछ मिल जाए उसको. अब बच्चों को they don't want a lot of things, from a lot of things. They just want कुछ टॉय मिल जाए, कुछ टूटी हुई चीज मिल जाए, कुछ मेटल मिल जाए, कुछ आयरन का कुछ मिल जाए, कुछ कॉइन्स मिल जाए, हो सकता है कुछ नोट मिल जाए. तो ऐसा कुछ बाई चांस गलती से कोई गिरा गया हो, तो ऐसा कुछ अगर उन्हें मिल जाएगा तो उन्हें ऐसा लगता था कि वो गोल्ड है उनके लिए। एंड दैट इज वाई वो हमेशा गार्बेज के अंदर कुछ ना कुछ ऐसा ढूंढते रहते थे जो उनके काम का होगा, जिसको वो यूज करने वाले हैं। एंड ही यूज टू एक्चुअली मेक हिज लाइफ ऑल्सो दैट वे। जो उनके माँ बाप थे वो इसी तरीके से सरवाइव करते थे। नाउ लेट्स लुक एट द क्वेश्चन वंस, द आंसर वंस। Now, Sahib belongs to Bangladeshi refugee family that migrated to Delhi from Dhaka, a place in Bangladesh, in the wake of 1971 Indo-Pak War. Now, here he finds himself in a vicious cycle of social stigma, poverty, exploitation. He represents a growing number of refugee migrant poor population who are forced to lead a life of penury. This migratory population settle on a periphery of big cities and start doing menial jobs to earn a living. Due to extreme poverty, Sahib's parents are unable to provide him education, or he ends up picking rags for his own survival as well as to support his parents. The author says Sahib scrounges for gold in the garbage, anything valuable like used clothes, shoes, bits of metal, plastic scraps, stray coins, currency notes can be termed as gold for them, because they can use it further, they can sell it, they can wear it, so it's kind of gold for them. Everything that they get, or everything that they have, actually they have got them from, or gotten them from the garbage.